Hi guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. So today guys, I want to talk to you about a movie that I watched recently called Don't Hang Up. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. I don't know why, it just suddenly popped up in my Instagram feed and then it just kept popping up and I was like, I need to check this one out. So it's a new release that was released on the 10th of February, I believe, in America. And it is different in a way it's different, in a way it's exactly the same. The film is about a group of prankster kids, really bro boys actually, I don't know, I'm sure that's the American way of explaining it. And these guys like to play pranks on people, so they're like the crank yankers or whatever you call them. Do people actually play pranks on, like, phone call pranks anymore? I didn't think that was a thing, but apparently it was. And these guys are using this old fucking camcorder, which is beyond me, to record them and upload them to like YouTube, which isn't YouTube, but you know what I mean. I hope you're still with me. While they're doing this, they get informed by one of their callers that they're fucking with the wrong person and shit's gonna go down, so don't hang up. The thing that is the most attractive or most alluring about the story is actually the camera work, believe it or not, for me anyway. They have these long, like, drive-through scenes of like houses where it must be like on a Steadicam or like then put to a dolly, and it's like this house scene where it's going through tabletops and around rooms and out the back door, and it happens a few times. They're really into the continuous, really long shots. It's not like a long shot that goes with like a long time, like it's not like it's a continuation of a scene, but it's just like the way they establish a scene, if that makes any sense. I thought that was really kind of alluring, but also interesting, but also fucking annoying in a way, because I was like, what are they trying to say here? And in a way, it kind of took me out of the movie because I was like so focused on what the fuck was going on with this shot and what they were trying to say by it. But I think they were just trying to do something cool and edgy, to be honest, completely honest. I also saw that they had like a kind of like zoom, like crash zoom in almost at when they're on like Facebook and stuff to zoom into like him clicking on something. It was also really distracting, but I gotta give them props for trying something new. At least they've got that down pat. And the actors, I would say, were pretty good. The main two guys, one's a fucking jerk. You don't really care about the actors, that's the problem. There's even the main guy, he's very whiny, he's having problems with his girlfriend, and it's just maybe a little bit too like teen, like slasher film for me. But I can appreciate what they were trying to do with the setup. It just didn't like get there for me because the characters were so shallow, but they were teenagers. No offense to any teenagers watching, but the way you're portrayed on horror movies and have been portrayed for all time is quite shallow, unfortunately. I also really want to note that the second guy, like not the main guy, but the other guy, his friend, the really big jerk guy, he is like the biggest B-grade Zac Efron that's ever lived. Apart from that, I thought the storyline was quite interesting to a certain standard. It reminded me a bit of 13 Sins, or the original, which is 13 Game of Death. Totally recommend that. It's a Thai film and it's fucking ace. And it is the original of 13 Sins, if you've seen that. If you haven't seen that, it's just a movie about a guy who like keeps getting calls and tells them what to do next before, you know, like these consequences happen or whatever. So I'd say 13 meets Would You Rather, if you've seen that, that's on Netflix, meets Nerve. I haven't seen Nerve yet though, but I believe all of them together would make a concoction, which would be this film. Surprisingly, this film is only kind of in one location. It's in a house. And it doesn't go much further than that. Spoiler a little bit, but I wanted to set you guys up for that because it isn't like a really long adventure type movie. It's weird because it's almost like an action film, but it's in such a small location that kind of some of it should have just kind of been chopped out. Even though it is a quite short movie, I think it's like an hour and 15 minutes. They've really prolonged like the middle bit where they're like trying to figure out if they should like listen to the guy or not, you know. I'm sure you guys can see where this is going. So in some ways that was really interesting that it had so much action in those parts because they were in such a small location. It wasn't like they were running around the streets like calling for help. But you do give them kudos for attempting to make it interesting for the whole time of the film within one location. This film is not Saw, so don't get me wrong, but it did attempt that kind of feel. Predictability factor, I would say there's some things that happen that you're like, dude, you're fucking up hardcore. One scene I can remember particularly being like, why would you ever do that? Every single horror movie, every single movie of all time tells you that you should not be doing that. you should know better, and it was right. But I do want to say, and this is probably a spoiler, but not really a spoiler, I'm just going to tell you what doesn't happen in the movie. I thought the whole film was going to be a prank because it's about these people who are pranking these other people and everyone's like really mad about it. And then I thought that maybe everyone's pranking them, but that doesn't happen. So I thought I might just include that because I don't want you guys to feel the same way I did, where I just didn't believe anything was happening and I was trying to be like, oh, but maybe he's not dead, or maybe this is happening instead. There's no point of having those thoughts, so I just wanted to include that. Overall, it's not a bad film. It's not a bad teenage type drama horror with a little bit of action, a game of cat and mouse that gets a little bit of sticky in between. I hope that describes it well, and if this sounds like a film that you'd want to watch, definitely check it out. But I'm gonna give this one a personal score of 5 because it didn't really give me anything extra, but it was okay, so it's like right in the middle. I'm gonna give it a scare score of 3, and I'm gonna give it originality of 6 because I felt like maybe it was just over the middle mark for originality for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I hope you found this helpful. Maybe I inspired you to watch this movie. Maybe I inspired you to give this film a miss. Either way, give it a thumbs up if you thought it was helpful, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Stay spooky, guys. Bye.